Clean up on aisle 3. I think that guy just came in his pants.
Not again. Sorry, guys. Winter 2024 has been a season that has flown relatively under the radar compared to the big hitters that we have had in the past year. That being said, we have the much anticipated adaptation of Solo Leveling, which has anime Twitter in a commotion about whether or not it will live up to the hype. With all of this in mind, here are some of the series that are coming out this season. Let's see here, we have not one, but 2 villainous shows coming out this season. Starting off strong with 2 very similar shows in the isekai genre, they'll almost certainly be washed away by the next Villainess show. I feel like since the popularity of My Next Life as a Villainess, all routes lead to doom, there's been an overwhelming amount of shows aiming to capture that same feeling and success. The way I can separate these 2 shows is that 7th Time Loop is a Groundhog Day style isekai similar to Re:Zero that is within the villainous subgenre, whereas Villainess Level 99 is about, checks notes, yes, prejudice towards those with dark hair. If there's anything that I have come to realize in this season, this one is certainly the season for parody. A lot of these new shows are copies of similar ones, and it is something that we have grown to expect in the isekai genre. Let's just hope our next show doesn't follow that same trend. Gushing Over Magical Girls is a satire on Sailor Moon. Holy shit, there are a lot of satire shows this season. This is similar to the Villainous shows, as well as the Power Rangers satire, but whereas the other ones are relatively lighthearted, this one's gonna be a full-on ecchi show, so fucking buckle the fuck up, samurai. This is a show that I think I'm gonna watch the entire way through. Continuing with the isekai anime of the season, there is The Wrong Way to Use Healing Magic. That sounds eerily similar to Redo of Healer, and one can only hope that he's actually using healing magic in this show. This is a show that knows just how trashy it is, and I'm absolutely going to love it. Also, I don't know what it is with all the Dami mommies in this season, but holy hell is Rose the queen of it. The comedy of the show right at the beginning is absolutely amazing, and I think this has the capacity to be my favorite show of the season. Oh, for fuck's sake. Give me that dick! Get back here and give me that dick now! Oh shit, oh fuck, oh shit, oh fuck, oh shit, oh fuck. I got you, motherfucker. Sasaki and Peeps is a mix of Zom 100 and the reverse isekai series Uncle from Another World. Sasaki is a tired office worker who stops at a pet shop. Little does he know that the little sparrow he ends up buying is actually someone who's been reincarnated from another world. Peeps the sparrow agrees to give Sasaki some of their power and they form a contract together. Sasaki and Peeps work together to sell items from the first world and the other one as an exchange system in order to fill Peeps' addiction to high quality meat. Sasaki traverses between the 2 worlds as he tries to balance his daily life. This is the one isekai show that I absolutely recommend this season. The first episode does a similar thing to Oshinoko by giving a longer first episode to show off the concept. Silver Link is handling this production and it has the gold stamp of approval that I need. If you're an isekai fan, consider watching Sasaki and Peeps, as it may just be the best isekai this year. Next on the season is A Sign of Affection, a romance anime that will probably end up being the best original show of the season. Yuki Itose is a hearing-impaired university student who has lived in silence since birth. We're introduced to our main character as she's unable to hear, with the utter silence in the show. I think it's really cool to show the hearing-impaired aspect of this, something that Echo has done really well as well. But like, for a show to do this and be bold, to cut all sound except for what the person is thinking, it's a bold but rather interesting decision. It elevates the show while not taking away from the concept, and I think this is something that we've seen very frequently now with shows that are trying to be more inclusive, especially to hearing impaired individuals. And this is a show that, regardless of that fact, is going to be amazing. By taking the time to build this concept and have something that's overtly, well, complex like this, and showing how this hearing impaired woman is falling in love, it not only elevates the whole story by having the silence, but also shows the emotion that comes out because she can't hear and she can't show her emotion in that way. I would be lying if I told you I didn't cry a little bit at the end of the first episode. Honestly, I think this is a show that has the potential to be really special, even if it's not going to reach the heights that, say, Fruit Baskets did. This is a romance anime that is going to be fucking phenomenal. I would definitely check this one out as it has the potential to be my sleeper pick of the season.
Sticking out your gap for the Rizzler.
Grounding yourselves back into reality is a show called Chained Soldier. Harem fans rejoice as a new ecchi show emerges from the pits of the dead subgenre of hot girls being badass to try and breathe life back into it. This has the potential to absolutely burst into the scene as its action scenes and gore are something that I absolutely relish in. As CG animation and anime continues to get better, Sentai Filmworks absolutely flourishes with it. The movement of the enemies is so fluid, even for it being obviously CG. Chained Soldier has our basic bitch harem protagonist as a literal slave to the wills of the women who want to be with him. Masochistic kings rise up as Chained Soldier sees our love for dominant women and gives us those with a literal railgun and a badass knee-high boot-wearing woman with a katana. This is a show that will mimic the likes of Fire Force and High School DxD, but I think there's something to be gained even from a show as blatant with its fan service as Chained Soldier.
このレンジャー暁レッドが相手に今日のところは休戦としようじゃねえかレンジャー君私はパンダが好きでね
Mr. Villain's Day Off takes a similar concept to Love After World Domination, but instead focuses strictly on our villain as he tries to enjoy his days off from trying to conquer the world. When Waro Mono tries to enjoy his days off, we see as he's constantly interrupted by those around him. Even though he's a villain, we see his humanity and how he's actually just a guy trying to do his job. This is a light-hearted satire of Power Rangers, and I believe that while this may not be a show that gets a large following, its quality speaks for itself. On the topic of comedy shows, Delusional Monthly Magazine is another show that I think won't get a lot of recognition but is going to be an enjoyable watch. It is a workplace comedy in a fantasy setting that is going to be lighthearted and turn your brain off kind of show. There isn't any complex thinking required, just try and relax and unwind with the cast of quirky and hilarious characters. On top of the continuing shows such as Shangri-La Frontiered, Frieren Beyond Journey's End, The Apothecary Diaries, Undead Unluck, and Ragnar Crimson, there are a bunch of sequels coming out this season. Blue Exorcist returns in the fray after 7 years, only to say, "What the fuck is up, bitches?" as if nothing ever happened between that hiatus. It seems that with the revived success of Bleach, more and more discontinued shows are being brought back, not only for nostalgia factor, but to absolutely kick ass. That being said, MASLE gets a quick turnaround for season 2 with A1 Pictures and what can only be described as the best satire show on the market. Classroom of the Elite burst back on the scene and currently sits at the top of the charts in viewership on MAL and in Japan. Tsukimichi Moonlight Fantasy is also back to continue with the amazing start that they had during COVID, only to drop a double Cour on our heads. If you're someone who enjoys Isekai and you haven't seen the show yet, I definitely recommend this one, as it has the potential to usurp Log Horizon and Jobless Reincarnation as my favorite Isekai. Bottom tier character Tomozaki gets a second season where we get to see our favorite incel turn into more of a normie. Banished from the Heroes Party also returns, a very slept on fantasy show that has a very solid time progression. This is another one that has the potential to build on the amazing start that they had, but in a season chock full of Isekai, it may be hard to stick out. Especially given what will be the success of Delicious in Dungeon. This is a Netflix series that continues a recent hot streak of shows. Right off the bat, the animation is absolutely seamless. If you're looking for a visually striking show, this is it. At the beginning of the show, we watch our protag, Laios, get saved by a member of his party who shoves him out of the way. She sacrifices her life for them, trapped in the jaws of a dragon, and teleports her party out of the dungeon in her last-ditch effort. This is a show that will take the comedy to supplant some of the otherwise darker Goblin Slayer vibes. It does a really good job of balancing both the drama and comedy, and this is another show with the potential to grow into something amazing. We are just one episode in, but I can say for certain this is my lock of the season. The Dangers in My Heart got a second season with another quick turnaround. This really is a season for people who like isekai and romance anime. We have not one, but 2 additions into the trash isekai subgenre in this season. The first being my instant death ability is so overpowered, no one in this other world stands a chance against me. I wonder what this is going to be about. After all, a lowly level 1000 monster doesn't stand a chance against a secret power to invoke instant death with a single thought. Oh, okay, yeah, very cool. There's also the Strongest Tanks Labyrinth raids, which is also going to be one of these trashy isekai shows. There is also Goblin Slayer 2.0 called the Unwanted Undead Adventurer. I mean, just look at that. The resemblance is uncanny. Because of the success of Overlord, there's obviously going to be some imitation, and Undead Unwanted Adventurer is definitely a little bit inspired by Overlord. We got a sci-fi show in Metallic Rouge, which is about androids and humans coexisting, so something of your Cyberpunk 2077 kind of thing. There feels like there's something special with Metallic Rouge, and I really hope that this is a show I can get into. After watching the first episode, I'm just excited to see where it goes from here. We also have another contender for Best Girl in The Witch and the Beast, which has a very dominant woman. Hudo is literally described as being quote-unquote a feral girl with long fangs and the eyes of a beast. Furries rejoice at this news, honestly. Speaking of furries, there's also Fluffy Paradise, an isekai show about someone being reincarnated and then being blessed with an ability to be loved by all non-human beings. So it's essentially We Bought a Zoo in just anime form. High Card also comes back with season 2, which is another show that isn't really well talked about, but is a very good underrated show. As well as Kingdom returning for its 5th season with Perot. Shaman King gets a spin-off that focuses on Yu and Anna's son, Hannah. And boys love fans rejoice as you're getting a series for once called Cherry Magic 30 Years of Virginity Can Make You a Wizard. I already knew that 30 Years of Virginity could make you a wizard. This has the potential to be a really solid romantic comedy as well as being a BL anime that hasn't been seen in a little while. And did I say there was 2 trashy isekai shows? Because honestly, I think there's actually 3. With Isekai Onsen Paradise, which is literally just an excuse to get any of the women in this show naked. I see you, Japan. You're not being slick. I know what you're doing. Finally, what might be also a bit of an underrated pick here is The Way of Pon. This is our cute girls doing cute things anime of the season. While it might not be the best show out there, it's something that if you like the K-ons of the world, you might in fact like this show. Now it's time to talk about the most anticipated show of the season. Yet another Silverlink show that will absolutely slap. With the output they have, it is only natural to wonder if they can keep up this pace. Hokkaido Gals are super adorable as a take on the romance gyaro subgenre. As someone who spent most of his youth in Hokkaido, I feel as if this show is going to be a bit of a guilty pleasure watch for me. Hokkaido has the most snow year-round of any place in the world, and the first episode clearly shows this. As our 2 protags wait to head to school in the snow, this is going to be a solid romantic comedy that rivals the likes of My Dress-Up Darling. As we see more and more shows trying to capture the title of Best Girl, Hokkaido Gals Are Super Adorable has put in a strong contender for this year. Enough mucking about, what is left on the list? Solo Leveling is going to be the power trip fantasy that all of us weebs have been waiting for. For the next several years, we're going to be consistently comparing the show with Eminence in Shadow, for which is better in the subgenre. I will, however, suggest that because Eminence in Shadow is a satire, it shouldn't count. That isn't to say it doesn't do a good job at capturing the essence of this subgenre, but I think that because it's a satire, it takes away from what it's trying to do. At least a little bit. But I actually love Eminence in Shadow, and I think it's a must-watch for any anime fan. I think considering that season 2 just ended, it's as good a time as any to get into the show. With the success of the original source material, Solo Leveling has been a show at the top of the people's list for a long time, and you can see why. Right out of the gate, the animation is banging. There is no hand-holding as we are thrown right into the thick of it. It's just a shame that the series is starting off with a single core, as I think it may limit its growth capacity. If the animation holds steady and continues at this rate, it will be as popular, if not as popular, as One Punch Man's first season. This is a show with the capacity to bring in newer anime fans while also entertaining those who have been watching for much longer. With the huge void left from Attack on Titan, there's a power struggle to see who can capture the new top spot, with Jujutsu Kaisen holding a strong claim for it after its recent season. I would not be surprised to see Solo Leveling hit the mainstream even harder, and one can only hope that we keep getting great shows such as this. The more great shows we have, the more studios and writers have to try and capture our attention. With that being said, if Solo Leveling is that surefire hit it should be, there will be a wave of newer and better anime on the horizon. Thank you all for watching. This video would not be possible if it weren't for the continued support of the channel. Weekly uploads are now scheduled for every Friday at 8:30 p.m. Tune in next week for my thoughts on MASLE, and I will see you all very soon.